Okay, we'll have a discussion later. Yeah, is my screen visible? Yes, anyone?
Yes, sir.
So, can anyone tell what are the black box testing that we discussed yesterday? Yes, Madhuri?
So we have studied two types in black box testing, that is functional and non-functional.
Okay, and testing techniques?
Testing testing techniques, so basically two types, that is black box and white box.
No, no. In the black box only, there are some types are different. Black box types are different and techniques are different. So the types means, as we discussed, functional testing and non-functional testing, and techniques means that comes to your equivalence class partitioning technique and boundary value analysis technique and some state testing, data testing, and all. Some techniques are there that today we'll discuss with example also. Okay, so as you know, the black box testing, it is a testing method that we test for any software application that we check without the internal, without having the knowledge of internal code. With respect to the input and output, we'll test the software application. So here we discussed types also. These are the some types like functional, non-functional, regression testing. These are the different types of black box testing, and these are the techniques: equivalence class partitioning, boundary value analysis, and decision table testing. So these are the different techniques. Okay, black box black box testing techniques. Okay. So yesterday we discussed with the example these equivalence and boundary value analysis. Okay, so we considered a example of like for in equivalence class, like for equivalence class to order a pizza. Okay, so here the valid input is from 1 to 10. So if you provide 1 to 10 in the input, so it is a valid input. Okay, so suppose if you consider here the class, if you provide 1 and 10, so this is a valid class, equivalence class, valid input. Okay, and suppose if you provide 11, okay, 11 to 99, then it is a invalid input. Okay, invalid input. Then if we provide less than 0, okay, 0 to 99 or something, the inputs, then that also give the invalid, okay, invalid input. So this is a valid class. We can say this is a valid class, this is invalid class, and this is invalid, invalid, valid, invalid class. So here, what happens if any of the input from this particular class, suppose if I take 7 as the input, okay, here, if I take 7 as the input and if I submit, then it is successful. The order for the pizza is successful. Means it is applicable to complete this class. It is applicable to this complete class. Okay, no need to check for the all the inputs. Suppose here the input size is very less, so 1 to 10, but there is a case of 1 to 100, then no need to test for the 100 inputs. If we test any of the one value, and if it is working, then we can consider as a test case is passed. Suppose uh, this is a one technique. Okay, equivalence class partitioning is one technique. Then after the equivalence class partitioning, we go for boundary value analysis. Okay, boundary value. In the boundary value, what we do? In the boundary value, we consider the boundary values. Okay, we test with only these inputs. Okay, so if the input for to order the pizza, okay, for order pizza here, if I provide a 0, then it is invalid means it should be unsuccessful, the transaction. It should not be go for the transaction. Okay, then if I provide with the value 1, then it is a success. It should be order. Okay, this is very important, this type of testing. So even there is one general example, like for example in the credit card transaction. Suppose if you take a credit card transaction. Okay, in credit card transaction we can set the limit for set limit for the online transactions, online transaction. Okay, we can set a limit for the online transaction. So few days back, I was paying some like I was doing transaction of 12,000 rupees. Okay, I was doing a transaction of the 12,000 rupees through credit card, and as the transaction was failed, even though I received the OTP is also received, but I didn't receive the transaction successful status. Okay, so it is showing, the status is showing as pending. Okay, it comes under the like one of the state testing. Okay, the status is showing the pending. So even I was like I waited for around 1 day. Okay, and then the next day also I tried. Next day also I tried with the same amount, and again it was showing, but it was working for like for 9,000 and all. The transaction was successful. It was working for the 9,000 transaction. Okay, so in the next day also I tried again for this 12,000. Again it was showing the pending, status is pending. So then I just searched in the internet why it is the case, why it is problem. So then I realized that the set limit, the limit of the transaction, it was set to 10,000. Okay, this is the means if I do the transaction above 10,000, suppose even 10,001, then it won't work. Okay, this transaction will not happen. Okay, so it is very important. Suppose like suppose if I am setting this transaction card means 10,000, it is a one good thing that even though if I lost my card, or if someone knows my password and all, even my OTP, even everything, if they know. Okay, and if I set this internal settings, like there is a transaction limit, means if I provide my to anyone and to do some transactions, so I can set some limit. This can change with by doing some authentication and all. We can change the limit. Okay, but this type of testing is very important. Suppose if there is any mistake, suppose if there is a instead of 10,000, if there is a 1 lakh, the okay, by mistakenly if we set the then it allows the transaction up to 1 lakh. Okay, so testing is very important in terms of like this banking transaction or any software products. Okay, any software product that deals with these transactions and all banking softwares and all. Okay, so testing is very important. So in the case of this the limit. Okay, so if suppose this is the valid input. Okay, this is the valid class. If there is a transaction, okay, valid input, and if there is a 10,001 to 1 lakh, okay, 1 lakh, then it is invalid. Means above whatever the above 10,001, it is invalid. Okay, 0 to less than 1. Okay, it is also invalid. So like this, you need to go for the writing the test cases. Here, see, in our case, earlier case, the pizza was there. The content, how much content was there? Only 1 to 10 input. It was very less input. But here, 1 to 10,000. Here, you cannot test for like 1 rupees, for 2 rupees, 3 rupees, like 10,000 rupees. Okay, आप 10,000, okay, 10,000 तक टेस्ट केसेस नहीं लिख सकते. Means it is very a time consuming process. You cannot test for all the input. Like by providing the 99, you are testing, okay, it is valid, 100 valid, 101, it is valid. Okay, so that type of it is very time consuming process. Okay, so that we considered, and boundary value also. Okay, so in this case, what are the boundary values? The boundary values are, so here it is a boundary value 0, 1, 10,000, 10,001. These are the boundary values. Okay, so we just provide the inputs 0, 1, 10,000, 10,001. We provide these boundary values and we'll test the application. Okay, then we'll go with one more type of testing, that is yeah, these are some examples only, that equivalence class partitioning. So here it is one more type of testing is state transition testing. State transition testing. Okay, so this type of, I think you people are observed in many times, like when you log in, suppose in the your Gmail account or any login. Okay, login application, I think you people maybe observed this one. So for the login screen, okay, how the state, okay, state transition testing. So in the first try, if you provide the correct password, okay, if you provide correct password, you can access successfully, login will be successfully. And in the suppose if you are provided invalid password, what happens? It will ask for the second try, the login page. Okay, login page. Okay, then again, so in the second try, when we do second try again, if you provide the correct password, then you will get access. This is the state. Suppose again in the second try also, if you are provided invalid password, then it will ask for the third attempt. Third attempt. Okay, third try. Then again, if in the third try, if you have provided a correct password, you will access. Success will be login will be successful. And again in the third try also, if you are failed to provide the correct username and password, your account should be locked. Okay, your login page is locked. Okay, I think you have observed this type of family. So in this way, you are required to test. Okay, for this particular scenario, for this particular state transition, you need to write the test cases. Okay, normally in like even where we can find such type of for the even for the ATM card transaction also. ATM card, I think one or two try. I think there also three times they will give the to provide a correct password, and in the third time if you do the transaction, then your card will be blocked. Even for net banking also, net banking. Okay, then your consider your Gmail, suppose any login. Okay, login of any application. Okay, so that is a state transition testing. So this technique is usually considered the state or the state means access or the block or try options. Okay, the state, output and input of the system during the specific period. Based upon the type of the software that is tested, it checks the behavioral changes. Okay, what are the behavioral changes of a system? Okay, what are the behavioral changes? Once we provide a third attempt, during the third attempt, if it is in the third attempt also, if you are provided a wrong username and password, credentials are wrong, then the account will be blocked. Okay, so behavioral changes of a system in a particular state or another state. That is about the state transition testing, and one more is a decision table testing. So decision table testing, for example, here there are some rules are there, rules with respect to the conditions, with respect to conditions. So what is the condition? End of the month. Okay, end of the month, salary is transferred. So salary will happen at the end of the month, the last day of the month. Okay, here the conditions: end of the month, salary transferred, and a provident fund. Okay, PF. Okay, so PF means it is a deduction from the salary. Like some amount will be deducted from the salary, and some amount will be that same amount will be provided by the employer also. Okay, so this is the conditions. Rule 1: end of the month is no. Okay, means this is not the end of the month. Then there is no salary, no provident fund. Okay, action means no income tax, no provident fund. Then the second rule is, suppose end of the month, yes. Salary transferred, no. So here the salary transferred, no, it indicates no provident fund. Okay, salary नहीं हुआ तो there is no question of provident fund. Then no income tax, no provident fund. Then rule 3. These are the some rules based upon that particular condition. These are the actions. Okay, based upon these condition, these are the actions, right? रूल 3 में क्या होता है, लाइक सपोज द केस इज दैट एंड ऑफ द मंथ है. ओके, सैलरी इज ट्रांसफर्ड. And this is the one. There are two possibilities. One is that there may be a provident fund deduction, or there may not be deduction. Here there is no deduction, but here there is a deduction of the provident fund. Okay, means कुछ in some of the employers they provide a provident fund, and some organization they won't provide. Okay, so end of the month है और salary है और provident fund is no, then only the income tax will deduct from the salary. जो जितना कट होना चाहिए टैक्स, मंथली टैक्स कितना होना चाहिए वो डिडक्ट होता है. ओके, suppose the case is that even if the person is having a provident fund account, okay, then उसका टैक्स तो कट होता ही है, उसके साथ प्रोविडेंट फंड का जो भी उन्होंने कट करवा रहा है, फॉर एग्जांपल 1500 उसका सैलरी में हर महीने से कट होता है. ओके, एंड एम्प्लॉय विल आल्सो पे द employer also pay the provident fund. Okay, तो इतना कट होता है. और like even your consider your salary, like even your TCS and Infosys and six, आपका Infosys सैलरी और TCS सैलरी, इसमें सब ये रहता है, लाइक आपका जो डिडक्शंस वगैरह, प्रोविडेंट फंड वगैरह. okay? तो ये सैलरी में से कट होके ना आपको आई थिंक around 24-25,000 आई थिंक यू विल गेट सम इन हैंड में आता है. इज एनीवन एनक्वायर्ड? अपने आपके सीनियर्स के साथ डिस्कस किया है क्या? सपोज इफ द स्टूडेंट इज वर्किंग इन TCS और Infosys with yes, एनीवन? तो आपके हाथ में ना अराउंड 24-23, डिपेंड अपॉन आपका सब कट वगैरह होके, डिडक्शन वगैरह होके, लाइक अभी 25 इंटू 12 कितना होता है? 3 लाख, राइट? आई थिंक इससे कम आता होगा, मीन्स बिकॉज ऑफ योर डिडक्शन एंड ऑल. ओके, मे बी अराउंड 20 to 25 you will get in hand. So these are some conditions. Based upon the condition, the action. Okay, decision table. And in the black box testing also, like why this technique is very popular, black box testing, white box testing, because it reduces the time of the testing. Okay, so this behavioral testing or functional testing. Software verification. क्या होता है, will save the time is very important. For example, in the as we discussed, for the credit card transaction limit 1 to 1000, 10,000 means no need to test for all the inputs. Okay, anyone, like if I check for the 7,000. Okay, this is with one technique. ये कौन सा हो गया? इक्विवेलेंस क्लास पार्टीशनिंग हो गया. उसके बाद आपको जाना पड़ता है बाउंड्री वैल्यू एनालिसिस. Okay, and also it is also depend upon the your testing constraint and the time. With respect to that, you need to plan. Okay, अभी कैसा है, like for 7,000 it is working. Suppose if there is a limit of, like suppose 8,000, 1 to 8,000 limit है, or suppose if you are tested for the 8,000, okay, it is working. Suppose if you are testing for the 8,050, okay, means it takes a like you need to go for different techniques like boundary value analysis. Okay, it is not only that you should stick with only equivalence class partitioning. You have to go with the state testing, boundary value analysis testing, decision box testing, decision table testing. Okay, and also there is here one scenario. The example given below throw a light on how the techniques of this testing can be used to test the specific software with the given inputs. तो यहाँ क्या होता है, shop for 500 dollar or okay $500 and receive a discount of 5%. सपोज आपने अभी एक सपोज फ्लिपकार्ट और अमेजोन थ्रू आपने एक शॉप कुछ ई कॉमर्स में शॉपिंग किया ₹500 का, तो ₹500 का आपने किया तो आपको 5% डिस्काउंट मिलना चाहिए. सपोज इफ द कस्टमर इज शॉपिंग फॉर ₹1000, तो 7%, 1500 का किया तो 10%. ओके, बेस्ड अपॉन योर कंडीशन. ओके, सपोज इफ यू आर डन द ट्रांजेक्शन अप टू 1500, तो आपको 10% का ये होना चाहिए. लाइक वो आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हियर द पार्टीशन, सी 0 to 500 मीन्स 5% मिलता है यहाँ. 5% डिडक्शन मीन्स 5% डिस्काउंट. और 500 1 to 10,000 1000 तक किया तो 7% डिस्काउंट मिलता है. नेक्स्ट 15%. So in this way you have to like write the test cases for these inputs or boundary value analysis. Okay, here 0 to 500 तो उसका boundary value analysis 500 501. Okay, so in this way we go for the testing. Okay, so the main is to improve the quality of the product. We go for different testing techniques. Then cost reduction. Cost reduction means you need to proceed the cost reduction. For that you need to go for the early testing, early phase testing. As early as possible you need to go for the testing, like in the requirement phase, design phase only. Then you can reduce the, like, these are suppose phases: requirement, design, coding, testing, deployment, maintenance. This is the how the graph, the cost increases. If you fix the defects in these stages, the cost will be less. Okay, if you are fixing the defects at the client side, then there will be more cost. The cost of the fixing the defects are more. Okay, and you need to go for the different testing techniques to improve the quality of the product. Suppose in the placement preparation only, you can consider placement preparation. How you do? Like you refer some. First, you go for the pattern of test. Then you will go for some previous year questions. Then you attend some mock test. Then you attend some classes. Okay, so you have some your own strategy. These are the different techniques we can consider. This is one technique, this is second technique, third. Okay, with various technique, at the last you will get a selection. Okay, means if you go with these techniques, means if you compare with the testing, if you go for these testing techniques, okay, this is very few. Means you are with one strategy, one methodology, then you will get a selection. So likewise in the testing also you need to go for the different testing methods: black box, white box. Okay, in the again white box, again the different types: unit, integration. Okay, system testing, integration testing, equivalence class partitioning. Okay, boundary value analysis, then decision table, state transition. Likewise, and once we go through all the testings, we get a a working and a quality software we can expect. Quality software. Okay. Okay, so with this we'll end this. Okay, so